back on GlitterBeam Radio, and we have on Skype with us the beautiful Alexis Michelle. Good morning, because it's morning there. Good morning.
Hi, ciao, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Very well, very well. Considering everything, I'm okay.
Yes, you look
Good.
gorgeous.
You do. So what the listeners can't see is we're currently on Skype, and Alexis has popped up with her video, and she looks fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
You do.
So if you're listening only and watching, you're missing out. Anyway, Alexis, we have a few questions for you.
Sure.
Get ready, Mikey. Yours is first.
Let's go. Cool. So let's start with your career. You started doing drag, when you were very, very young, and started doing gigs around about in 2003. How much has your drag evolved and changed from then to now?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I could even find a picture from that first gig in 2003, but if I could describe what my makeup looked like, well, I for certain didn't cover my eyebrows, so I probably had my natural eyebrow, and I think I just wore solid glitter from the lash line all the way up to the eyebrow. That's what we call a glitter garage door. But no, I mean, it's a constant evolution. I mean, even now I try to take bits of inspiration or try to push myself, but it's a journey, it's a process, and I find that it's sort of what keeps it fresh. It keeps it exciting to keep trying new things. I get a bit bored if I just sort of say, okay, this is it and I'm done, because you do see some queens who have an aesthetic, they sort of arrive at it and they stay with it. And hey, if it's beautiful, stay with it. It's fine. But it's just okay. Why not try to keep working on it, And
Yes.
And for me, it was really when I started doing drag full time that it really accelerated, because I went from doing my makeup, once a month or twice a month or once a week to doing it several times a week. And then the makeup really changed. And I think that the makeup is such a pivotal part of the whole aesthetic.
No, definitely. Has there been a particular look that you've been particularly proud of? Even if we get rid of
And
Drag
don't say
Race
the
entirely.
frozen look. Don't say the frozen look.
Which frozen look?
Well, no, there has been a bit of discussion regarding a recent runaway for...
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we won't call it my frozen look. We'll call it my promo look, because the
Yes.
promo look
Yes.
first. So let me address this. I had the pleasure of working with Christopher Palou, who was an alum of Project Runway, and that was our first collaboration, was for the promo looks, and he had 1 week to create that look. And of course, it was so iconic, so beautiful, one of my favorite things I've ever worn. And then there were other artists after they saw it who reached out to me. So Christopher ended up working with Todrick Hall, and then Eureka O'Hara, and then Christopher had already been designing clothes with Brita Filter even before I worked with Christopher. So eventually, Christopher made Brita a gown that was very similar, and then she modified it when she went to Drag Race. They shortened the sleeve, they added some more reflective pieces. So as Christopher likes to say, they could all be part of one collection.
Amazing.
Good. So you are a New York queen.
Yeah.
So we all from the UK, we all imagine New York as an amazing concentrate on talent and different drag. So if it's possible to somehow define it, how would you define the drag in New York?
I think what you said is really the key, is that there's a little bit of everything. And I think that New York, because it's always been such a hub for live performance, you have a lot of variety in the kinds of performance you can see, and thusly you have a lot of variety in the kind of drag you can see. And that continues to expand, because the kind of drag you could see 5 years ago in New York has profoundly expanded as more and more people look to drag as a form to express themselves. More and more different kinds of people are doing drag, and their drag looks different. Oh, here's my production assistant, George.
Hi, George.
Oh, hello. He's gorgeous.
Oh, so Alexis' dog has literally just walked into camera and he is adorable. Yeah.
He's been a good quarantine buddy. Otherwise, I'd be alone in this apartment. So I'm glad he's been around.
Yes, and he's actually a recent addition to the family, isn't he?
Yes. Now, there's a lot of people here in New York and around the country and the world, I'm sure, who have adopted pets during the quarantine. That was not me. I adopted George a week before we were quarantined.
It's true.
I had no idea, how much I would be needing him. I mean, I knew I wanted a pup in my life, but I needed him. My God.
Oh, bless. That actually brings me on to one of the next questions, actually. It was like, we were going to ask, what are you doing, with yourself and with your time in the lockdown? I mean, how has your typical day changed in comparison to what it was?
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm grateful for George, because puppies need structure. And so I get up at the same time every morning. We get up nice and early, and I feed him and I take him out so he can go to the bathroom, and I give him several walks throughout the day. And the other special thing that we do every day, me and George, is he has a best girlfriend in the building, and her name is Annie.
Oh.
And every day, I'll have to send you guys a clip or a photo.
Please.
Every day, I take this. I have a playpen that I bought for him that I thought I would use in the house, that I haven't used at all in the house, but I use it every day. We take it down to the sidewalk, George and me and Annie and Annie's mom, Samantha, and they have a play date on the street every day at 5 o'clock after dinner.
Oh, that is adorable.
So, just out of curiosity, how the potty training is going?
Good. Very good. He's very smart. I have to say he was in good shape already when he came to me, and there were a few accidents in the first couple days, but it's been very good. So,
lucky you. I have a puppy and I don't have this luck, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
in addition to taking care of George, there's been a lot of cooking, and I've been working out, and by some miracle and by the grace of some higher power, I haven't gained weight. I've even lost a couple pounds, thank God.
Oh, I wish that was the case for me, because you guys can't see me on camera, but over this time while I've been in lockdown, I've been trying to do some exercises, but the fridge is my enemy right now. I'm just getting so bored, and I'm snacking. Look at this. Look what's going on.
I don't have a problem because there is a lock on my fridge. It's fine. There's a chain with a lock. It's fine. My husband keeps a lock. So you have auditioned for Drag Race several times.
8.
You have entered. I know. Let's say 7. Who cares? Several. You have entered season 9, and you've scored one of the most amazing victory that every queen entering that room would like to win, with which is the Snatch Game, impersonating someone that I can see in your living room in a picture. Actually, yes, it's something on your wall, which is Liza Minnelli. You ended up in top 5. So what was the best part of the experience? And if there was a worst part, which was the worst?
Well, you talk about how people walk into the workroom and they hope to win Snatch Game. I think what's more accurate is they hope to survive Snatch Game, because every season it really is the challenge that separates the top players from the rest. And it can really take you down fast if you're not ready for it. And in my case, I didn't want to just survive it. I did want to win the Snatch Game, because for all of those years of auditioning for the show, and all of the years that I've been impersonating Liza and paying tribute to her, I wanted to go on, and I wanted to make Liza proud. I wanted to make all my friends and supporters proud. And so people ask when I got home from Drag Race, was it fun? And I say, fun's not the right word. But there were fun moments. And for sure the most fun I had was the Snatch game, and getting to really, show you what I'm able to do as a performer and with comedy. And so that was definitely the most fun I had. And probably the second most fun was portraying Kris Jenner on the Kardashian. I think she's so fascinating, Kris Jenner, and for me it was an easy character to step into. And the fact that she saw it and gave me a video shout out during the reunion was and the hardest part for me on Drag Race was probably the getting eliminated, because I made it so close to the finale, and it meant so much to me. I wanted it so much, and it's hard when you see your dreams sort of slip away. And I'll tell you, lip syncing for your life is not fun. It's scary. And it's almost an out-of-body experience. And I remember that day, I was exhausted. And I remember I thought, just fight as hard as you can. And I look at it now and I thought, oh, maybe you could have done more, or you could have fought harder. But I assure you, I was fighting with everything I had left. I was so tired. And I could see it. I could see it slipping away from me, slipping between my fingers. I remember looking at Peppermint. I remember looking at the judges, and I felt it going. That was hard. But it took some time to have perspective to see that just being there, just having the experience, and of course having high moments like Kris Jenner and like Liza made it all worth it.
Awesome. I mean, even like I said, even though you were eliminated, it's opened up, I'm assuming, so many doors for you. I mean, obviously working on, in the drag scene within New York, and then being on there. I mean, what's happened after that? I mean, you must have been approached.
It's life-changing forever, and that's why I have no regrets about doing it. For any of the difficulties that come up with perception, the way people see you based on the way you're edited on the show, and the fandom can be really nasty online, as we know. Despite all of that, it changed my life profoundly for the better. It's the first time in my life I'm able to perform exclusively and not have to work any other jobs.
Nice.
And that alone is a huge gift, because for so many years as an artist, I was pursuing performing and doing people's hair and makeup and designing flowers and working events. So I was always doing that New York hustle. So it was great, to be able to finally just focus on being a performer. And so many incredible opportunities have come my way. I produced my solo album that Broadway Records picked up. I have continued to perform at Club Cumming and 54 Below in New York City. I've been many live performances, commercials, and of course now my new TV show, Dragnificent.
Yes! And that's... it's amazing. It looks like she knows the questions, but that's actually
you have
the
script
question.
in front of you, right? I mean, this is what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, so tell us about Dragnificent. I mean, we understand that you've got a baby Sahara Bennett, Jujubee, and Thorgy Thor going on. What can the viewers expect from that? Because it sounds really exciting.
It is really exciting, and it's unlike any makeover show you've seen. People applied to be on the show. They needed our help with a special event, whether it was a wedding or a school reunion or some other momentous life occasion that they wanted our help for, whether they needed to look fabulous, whether they needed to feel confident again. And it's incredible because you'll see some amazing physical transformations on the show, but you'll also see some internal transformations on the show. And that's really what it's all about. And that's what was so exciting for us to be able to do. And this cast is incredible. You'll see we had a lot of fun making it, and I think you'll be able to see when you watch.
Oh, definitely.
So
I am
it
looking
will
forward to seeing
debut on TLC, or there is a sneak peek on Sunday evening. We got a lot of American listeners. So listeners, dear American listeners, please, Sunday evening, and then Monday as well, which is the proper schedule.
Yes.
Yes, it will be every Monday.
I don't know the information yet on when it will air internationally, but I know that our pilot aired internationally, so I expect that the series will.
Yes. So just before this interview, I went on tweet to TLC UK and say, why the hell Dragnificent is not here? And they said it's coming in UK as well. So UK, get ready. TLC in America and TLC in UK very, very soon. TLC in America will have a sneak peek a little bit earlier, but we're used to that. We see Drag Race anyway one day after, so it's fine. Actually,
with the poor cousins, we're used to it. It's
Yes,
fine.
yes. Drag Race season 12. Now,
Yes.
you are a drag mother, so you might not be really impartial on this. So let's take away Jan for a minute. Okay? Which queens are your favorite? Don't say Jan, don't say Brita.
Well, Britta's an old friend from New York. We really came to the scene at the same time. I always knew Britta would make it onto the show. And in the time that I've been a part of Jan's life, I always knew it would be part of her future too, because she's such a fierce talent and so driven and inspiring. But I would say the other people that I've been loving watching this season, I have 3 easy favorites: Jada Essence Hall, Gigi Good, and Crystal Method.
Yes.
Yes. They seem to be the favorite among a lot of the queens, right?
Yes.
Seeing a lot of repeated names.
I had the pleasure of working with Jada Hall maybe a year and a half ago, and I saw her and right away was just stunned by her beauty, because she is truly one of the most stunning creatures you've ever seen. And but she was just as nice and lovely to work with and humble, and we went out to dinner after we worked together, and it was great fun.
Awesome. Very nice. It's nice to see, like I said, all the queens obviously know, because I might be completely wrong, but for me, I would assume, like, in the drag industry, it's like it's a very close-knit community. I mean, I think on some level everyone has met someone or is aware of someone that they work with, and I think it's nice that you guys obviously have pre-interacted beforehand, so you know how everyone is, the aesthetic that they have and things like that. It's really quite nice to see. And again, with a lot of the guys that we've interviewed, they're also to say a similar thing as well. That's really, really cool. Nice. Okay, I would like to read a quote of yours that you recently put on Twitter, okay, if this is okay. So you recently wrote a few days ago, so just a reminder, you may think that you know someone you see on reality TV, but you don't know all of them. You know a part of them, and in the case of Drag Race, likely a stressed emotional part of them. Don't spread hate and channel your excitement into love.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a powerful statement. I mean, do you believe, as I 100% categorically believe, that some fans, so-called fans, can take things too far? I mean, they can target things and they can say really hurtful, nasty things because they're hiding behind this keyboard. I mean, yeah.
It's the whole keyboard warrior phenomenon. I think what's happened in particular with Drag Race is it created such a space of welcomeness and excitement for the queer community and for the drag community and the people who love it. It created such a feeling of excitement and even ownership. People feel they possess it. And if they think that Drag Race is theirs, that it belongs to them, then they think anyone who's on Drag Race also belongs to them, or are not full-fledged human beings that can be treated how they wish, that can be said to whatever they wish. And what they forget sometimes is that the people on the show are human beings just like them, sitting behind those keyboards. You know, and what I wrote on Twitter, it's a rather general statement, but I intended to post it after Britta's elimination. I know Britta has been receiving a lot of hate online.
Yeah.
And, you know, I won't go into all of it because we could talk for hours. But as I said, Britta and I came onto the scene at the same time. It was also at the same time as my best friend Dusty. And the three of us were like a troupe. We called ourselves the Bad Sisters, Britta, Alexis, Dusty. And there was some drama that went down, and Britta and Dusty really went in separate ways, and I sort of picked my side. And it's not that I didn't still love Britta. I still love Britta. We're actually, you know, in more frequent communication now than we were for many years, following the falling out. But it did have a big impact on me, on Dusty, on Britta, and the people surrounding us and in our circles. And it was a really hard time. So even with all that history with Britta, I still know that what you see on the show isn't the full story. And it's something that I can speak to because it was my experience.
Yeah, it happened with you. I mean, I don't know in what kind of size, and you know, it happened to you as well. I mean, I've been reading online that someone started saying that you were the villain of the season. You were the villain because there has to be a villain. So that season was Alexis Michelle. You know.
Yeah. And that was my perception too. You know, I started watching the season and I sort of like looked the way I remember it, and then at a certain point it changed, and I felt that there was a skewed angle.
I think that's one thing we all have to remember, isn't it? It is TV, and no matter how you are presenting yourself in real life, it can be edited and it can be shown, and people can make their own perceptions.
One important thing is there is not the Big Brother, is not live, is edited. Yeah. So, of course, the sort of narrative can be anything, really. Yeah. Because every word taken out of the contest and put it somewhere else, of course, can be, you know, can have a different effect. So this is something that we should never forget, all of us watching it.
Yes, that's the tea.
That's the tea. She's drinking tea. She's drinking tea. Yes, that's the tea. Yeah.
So, but I think that's one thing. Oh, so I was going to say that I think that's one of the things that, again, we all have to take into account as well. The thing that we've said with a lot of queens that we've interviewed and things is the fact that the amount of these online bullies and things like that. I mean, it's one of the things that, you know, we, you know, here at GlitterBeam, and personally, we hate this online bullying thing because it you know, people don't think that it causes the impact that it does. And regardless if you are, you know, in the limelight and, you know, in the public eye, or whether you are a sole individual, having these trolls come and say, you know, keep nagging at you all the time and saying X, Y, and Z, it's not good. It's not good. And what I think is really disappointing from my perspective is within the LGBT community, I think there's a lot of this, you know, knuckle-heading things. And, you know, we're meant to be here. We get enough of that from outside. You know, we shouldn't be doing this to each other on the inside as well.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Is that I know it comes from a place of pain and hurt within those people, but I don't know where the brain and why the brain works this way, that people think, oh, I'm in pain, I'm hurt, and somehow hurting someone else is going to make me feel better. It makes zero sense, and it shouldn't be such a hard thing to reprogram for some people, but apparently it is.
No. Okay. I think it's one of those things that we're going to have to learn to deal with.
So, let's talk about the positive. We have
yes.
a beautiful, amazing queen on Skype. Actually, as Monique Hart will say, stunning! Which which is also quite appreciated as a man. Should we say that?
Sure.
Should we say that? I mean, you know, he's good. He's a good-looking man. Let's say the truth. So thank you so much to be on GlitterBeam. Dragnificent, TLC, sneak peek Sunday evening, and then from Monday onwards, every week, I've seen a wedding with people in tears. I've seen everything. So watch it because it's worth it, and get ready because it's coming to UK as well. Before I leave you, Alexis, I would like you to just have a hello and say hello to all the GlitterBeam listeners, so we can put your hello on rotation and have it every now and then with our songs.
Well, thank you both so much for having me. This was so nice, and thank you, everybody. This is Alexis Michelle, and you're listening to GlitterBeam.
Music with sparkle.